accepting yourself and being who you are and doing the things that you want to do, being an actress, writing, doing whatever you want to do that feels like, it's part of who it makes you feel good. You can still be loved, still doing those things.
I think I'm like, and this is just the survivor's guilt, but what right do I have to like take up that space? Or like, why do I need to be seen? Or why do I need to be heard? Or any of those things,
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to our next episode of Be Thyself. We're here for you. The purpose and the goal of this podcast is to create a community and also to help as many people as possible. We want to hear you. We want to actually have your comments. We want to actually kind of know what's going on with you and what you'd like to see in this podcast. If you have any subject or any matter that you'd like to actually see being discussed on this podcast, please leave us a comment. We will be reading it and we'll take it in consideration and we will have a podcast around it. Thank you so much. Well, welcome back to our next episode of Be Thyself. So today we're going to have another guest, as always. Her name is Kathleen. Welcome, Kathleen.
Hello.
And I just want to say hi to our host all the way in Barcelona. Hello. Hello, Christelle.
Hello.
So today we actually have Kathleen on board. She's going to be talking and sharing with us, her story and also her challenge. And hopefully we're going to be able to help her. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to actually kind of relate to some of the challenge that you have, that Kathleen has. And hopefully we're going to be able to help you today with this. If you have any subject or any matter that you'd like to actually see being discussed on this podcast, please leave us a comment. We will be reading it and we'll take it in consideration and we will have a podcast around it. Thank you so much. Well, welcome back to our next episode of Be Thyself. So today we're going to have another guest, as always. Her name is Kathleen. Welcome, Kathleen. Hello. And I just want to say hi to our host all the way in Barcelona. Hello. Hello, Christelle.
Hello.
So today we actually have Kathleen on board. She's going to be talking and sharing with us, her story and also her challenge. And hopefully we're going to be able to help her. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to actually kind of relate to some of the challenge that you have, that Kathleen has. And hopefully we're going to be able to help you today with this episode. So
awesome.
Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Kathleen. Kathleen, hi.
Hello, Serge. Hello, Crystal.
I wanted to kind of, ask you, how you got into like acting, because it's something that, you're very passionate about. And so I want to kind of get to know, how you actually got into it.
I already really enjoyed it as a child, but I didn't have a lot of experience in it. I was a ballet dancer, and I loved performing, but I was also like a very quiet person, like very observant, and I was in a play when I was a kid in Dallas, Texas one time, but it was like mainly my older sister and her friends that were in the play, and I just played a picture. I was like a painting in a picture frame. And I didn't have any lines. I was just like, but I loved it so much. And then one year, it was like kind of a big surprise for me. I didn't make the dance squad, which was like, what? Dancing is my thing. And it was like a real, like questioning because I love that. But, and I had quit for a few years because of an injury. But anyway, I ended up getting into theater and I got the lead in The Crucible in high school as Abigail Williams, and then kind of caught the acting bug, as they say. But I did not pursue it. I remember in high school, my friend saying like, oh, if you don't know what you want to do, because I came from a family who was like, military, middle America, Catholic, just also we had been through a lot at my high school at the time. There was like a tragedy there, and so it was just, I didn't think that was something to pursue as a career, and I was in Colorado, and
Yes.
But then I did take the classes in college. I just audited them while I was in business school with this teacher who was from NYU Tisch program, which was like a very good school for acting, and really loved it, but I was always sort of secretly doing it. And then finally, after years of doing other things and having moved to New York City and everything, and I was working in fashion PR at the time, just because I'd studied like marketing and French, I finally quit that job and went back to acting school when I was 29. And
how long did you stay in the other job before going back to acting? How long did you stay?
Well, I had changed. I really didn't know what I wanted to. Well, I think I did know what I wanted to do, but I was afraid to go for it, and thought it was sort of like an impossible thing or whatever.
How many years in
And
between, like between you kind of starting acting,
yeah,
when you're like a teenager, and then stopping, and then going to the other, career, and then went
yeah,
back to acting. So how many years in between?
10.
10 years. Wow.
Yeah, I must have finished. Well, even yeah, like 11, because I probably finished. No, no, no. Sorry. How old was I? But maybe like 8 or something like that.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah. And even then, I thought I wanted to be a director actually, and I was like, let me look into programs for that. But they were, in New York City when I was already an adult working and whatever, and you're like, I have to pay for these schools plus, life in New York City and whatever. I was just like, let me try to get more experience. So I worked on set. I was working retail by day when I first moved to New York because I did have this one film job that fell through. I was just going to be a PA. I found it on Craigslist. And it didn't come to fruition when I got to New York. I called the people that told me to come and start this day. And I showed up in New York with one suitcase and like I had a friend's place to stay at for a few days, and then I was going to look for a spa and just like start this job. And it was a Google number at the time, and they just didn't answer, didn't call me back. And it was some like indie film